Hey, welcome to a brand new episode of Str8Up Show Podcast. This is the 100th episode. I am your host, Calvin, joined by my co-host, Brandon, and Christina, I guess. But how y'all doing today?
Wait. I'm not here to talk about you forgetting Christina's name, but this is the 100th episode?
The 100th episode, and we can disregard Christina tomorrow, so don't worry about that.
That's monumental, right? For Str8Up to make it to 100 consecutive episodes. Like, some people legit did not think that could happen.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, y'all.
It's happened.
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. We have to bring in Christina. Christina, hey.
I'm not doing anything. I didn't. I'm just being disrespected left and right. Okay. It's fine. I'm here to celebrate this moment, and you just spat all over it. Okay.
Y'all, hey, it is our 100th episode, and let me do this again. The right.
Like Calvin's forehead is monumental. That's monumental. Yeah,
we're only missing Lee now. We're only missing Lee.
Let me try it again. All right, y'all. It is our 100th episode.
On the way, keep that energy, Calvin. Let's go. Let's be honest about ourselves. Let's be true. Let's do it. I miss you guys.
I miss you too, Christina.
I'm so proud of what this has become, and of both of you, all three of you actually, for making it this far. It's been a lot of conversations, a lot of discussions and arguments and feelings involved, but you made it. You pushed through, regardless of Calvin being who he is. So, I mean, that in and of itself, dealing with Calvin.
And that's still a problem. Like, that's been the problem since day one. It's been the problem dealing with Calvin on day one of this thing. But as the podcast version of Str8Up, we had so many entities of this brand, and when we started off as a TV show at our college, and it went from a web series, and then we got an email from some random news director in San Diego, Matthew Mixon, shout out to him, asking us to do a podcast, and just didn't think that would be something new, but y'all, this is our 100th episode, and we're gonna break down like just 100 episodes and what just coming to this point means. But first off, I gotta catch up with my crew, man. I have not had them the whole season. Lee's not here. Lee's been really busy doing some phenomenal work as well. So shout out to Lee, and we're gonna talk more about Lee later on. But shout out to Lee. But man, Christina, I think let's start off with you, because you're the first lady of Str8Up, and even though we joke around, I do want to say thank you so much for your contributions to the show. But man, before we get into all the sad and fluffy stuff, but like, what's been up with you? We hadn't seen you in a long time.
Well, I had to take a little step back from things for a while. Just life, parents getting older, taking care of them for some things going on. Finished school. So I got my business administration.
Hey,
yay!
Out of the way. So who knows if I'm going to keep going, but I finished all of that officially. I graduate 30th of this month, actually. So yay! And I'm about to be 32 in just a couple weeks, y'all. I'm getting up there. But also, I spent the holidays abroad. Went to Japan. Started over with a lot of things in my life. So things have been happening. Nothing too terrible. Nothing. Thankfully, nobody's hurt. Haven't lost anyone. So I have to say I'm very well off right now. So that's me. Sorry to be MIA, but it was needed. But I've been here the whole time. I love y'all. I've been seeing things. You've been pushing through, grinding on your own. Very grateful that you kept going and kept this going for yourself and for the whole crew. So I'm sorry we left you on your own for a little bit there, but you got a big enough head to keep it all going by yourself.
Well, according to some people, I have a big ego. I'm not gonna say who. I know you're watching, but no. But hey, first off, congratulations, Christina. Like, we've been rocking with you since college, and like I'm a prime example that it is a struggle just to get to college and be consistent with it because life hits you. Life really does hit you. So, congratulations, man! You graduating in business. So, we might have to take this whole straight up thing corporate, and you might have to, what's up? I'm just kidding. But no, Christina, congratulations, man. That is a big step. I'm really proud of you. I'm a little upset that you didn't tell nobody you was going to Japan and you got to see the Gundam, statue and all this
So
other
the
stuff.
funny thing about Japan was it was a spur of the moment thing. My friends were going to Japan, and I left work miserable, and I met up with them at a Starbucks. And then I saw the cost of the ticket. It was like super affordable ticket, way lower than it should have been. And I was like, you know what? Card. And that's what happened. It was literally like a split second decision to spend a month in Japan. No planning prior, and had a good time. Treat yourself, people, if you can, responsibly or just a little irresponsibly. Do something to make you happy. Breathe
You
somewhere
say
else.
that, but you probably was like, y'all not about to do not another one thing without me while I'm miserable at work, and you jumped for it.
I can say that even because I had just been running away for like almost a month straight from work. I was taking flights in and out of Shreveport and Dallas. Oakland, Anaheim, almost to Canada. I was in Arizona for a couple days. I was in Phoenix. I was in Chicago, Atlanta. I was doing anything I could to get away from that job. So I was like, you know what? This is the reason right here. So let that go, and so much joy.
Can you tell the Straight Up people the group that you were following a good bit?
Oh, it's K-pop. That was my favorite group at the moment. ATEEZ. ATEEZ. They're my babies, and I, with another friend, we
These are grown men.
Groupies. Huh?
These are grown men.
Yeah, I'm older than them. They're my babies.
Okay.
They're my babies. I'm older than all of them.
Why did you tell me that the N word in Korean is not what it really means in Korean? Because I heard.
Well, because it's not the word. They're saying nega, N-E-G-A. And it means some form of I.
All right, because I'm about to get some selective outrage.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to get some selective outrage in one of them songs. I was like, wait a minute, what you just called me? Like,
you're gonna hear it a lot. Nigga, chalaka. You be like, excuse me. I'm like, yeah. It'll catch you off guard.
Yeah, he called me off guard because what you say? Anyway, but Christina, I just want one question right quick. And I'm battling allergies today. Out of all days, I'm battling allergies, so my voice is not like it's supposed to be. You won't let me be great, y'all. How was it looking at the Gundam statue? Like, how crazy was that?
Well, I didn't really know. My friend wanted to see it, and we were on a train going somewhere else in Japan, and I happened to look out of the window, and I was like, "Hey, isn't that the thing you want to see?" It was just like this gigantic robot, and she was like, "Oh my god, we have to go!" So we went and saw that one, and then she was like, "Oh, this isn't the one I heard about." And I was like, "There's another one?
What? There's another one?
There's like 2 or 3 of them apparently." We saw 2. The third one, maybe there's only 2. I'm not sure, but there was something else. But so we went to see that one, and it had like a music thing that would play, and it was cool. It opened up a little bit, but the big one that's in Yokohama or whatever in Japan, that one we went to at night when it was like 40 something degrees. I hate the cold. I was miserable, but it was really cool to see it. And it only went off every like half hour or something. So we got there right after it had just done it. So we had to wait longer to see it did it the second time. And I was just like tremble the whole time. Like the cold hurt so bad out there. But that was cool. But it was amazing to see because I was just like, they built that. I was like, I know it's based off of a cartoon, like an anime, to have these fighter robots, but I was like, but they built it, like
mobile suits,
and it's massive. It's the size of a mall, and you're just like, but they made it. like a person can be in here. I was like, so they have the ability to operate it. You gotta
Hopefully not.
if they built
But
this, we don't stand a chance. Just like this thing, it was just me for like 5 minutes. I was like, but they made it. She was like, yeah, but it just plays me. I was like, but that's what they want you to think.
They
Like
could
this
put
is
people in it.
real. I was like, this big thing is real. You're telling me they made these. And I was like, I know this isn't the only one.
Like
We're
Mastodon.
screwed.
Man,
But the thing I was most excited about is, if anybody knows me, I'm a major Godzilla fan. So I tried to catch every Godzilla statue, poster, shirt, everything I could find of Godzilla. I
that's
had a
great.
Godzilla screech of my own and everything. Oh, I was just like, Godzilla's
I was last week's old when I found out that the Green Ranger's Megazord is Godzilla. I did not know that till today,
it's
last
not
week.
Godzilla though.
It's the imagery of Godzilla, but you know what I mean. Like it's supposed to be like Godzilla. Don't take my thunder, Christine. Not today. Not today. Don't take my thunder, Brandon. Since Christina's out here living, since Christina's out here living her best life, man. Catch up with us. You know, man. I mean, I don't know if you've been doing what Christina's been doing, but man, what's up with you? I hadn't heard from you in a while.
no, spending money is not, well, I've been spending money just in different ways, just business and everything. But really, I've just been, I don't know, just even the past 2 years, just been working on me and myself. Um, it's one of those things where, when I was married and engaged, you spend so much time dedicated to business and making money, to where once all of that is gone, you kind of just dedicate yourself to like rebuilding you, figure out, just more about you, and get a little weight back up. And I've just now started back with business, like these past like 2 months, like just going inside of my QuickBooks, Christina, and like just now starting to get back with business. So I'm even got a couple of social media stuff coming up, and career change, with the cattle sheriff department doing their media now. So that's been that's been on the big thing. So, but no, just now getting back into business, but I just been enjoying life, getting to know
Side note to
me
interrupt
and
you,
everything.
I'm bad at QuickBooks. I hate it. I hate numbers. I don't like it at all. Just you were like Christina, and I was like, oh, no.
No, I'm with Calvin. You gotta be You gotta be straight up accountant.
We're gonna
I
fail.
have to, yeah. Man, that's great. First off, like congratulations on the career change, man. That's a real big deal right there, man. Especially with the CPSO. So man, congratulations on that. And totally understand, like, just taking a step back, which I have not done, and we're gonna talk more about that later on this episode. But man, I'm so glad that you all are, keeping busy and living y'all's life, man. I'm really proud of all y'all for real, because, we and funny enough, I think the last time we all talked to each other was when we saw each other in person. No. We had an episode after that. No, that's a lie. We had an episode after that.
Do we?
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah,
I
because I
don't
remember
know.
because I got
I
mad at
don't
y'all
know.
because y'all were laughing at me at the table, so I was really mad
I
at y'all.
always
Oh,
laugh at
I
you.
really couldn't believe
I
you
mean,
was
that was
truly upset
I don't
about
know
Because
what
that.
happened,
y'all was just
but I
out the.
always find my laugh. I don't care.
I was just like, wow, y'all were just amped up. But no, I think maybe that's the last time I spoke to y'all together. I
I
think,
think that was.
Were you
but
in
I
think it
could be
was.
wrong.
Is that why I wasn't invited back?
I
No,
was like,
I mean,
I
low
was,
key,
I,
I was a little sea salty because I was like, man, like I was being dead serious, and everybody's like laughing at me. But no,
You dropped a bomb of sorts. You did this. You got a genuine reaction out of that moment.
no, yeah, we're not gonna say what you said, but you really did drop the ball. But I left saying, man, that's my dude, that's my guy. Like, no, nobody can replace Calvin. Like,
but I think it's like
You
because I was just being so serious, and I just didn't think that that's the reaction y'all would get. I was like, yeah. That's no thing. I'm like, dang, if y'all laughed at that, man, we got I got more crazy stories than that. Shoot, I'm a walking book.
Wait till you come back for that. I'll have a joint in hand.
Oh,
Let's make that happen, please.
Bro, it's some stuff on here that I cannot say on this podcast that I've been going through. And y'all be like, what? Yeah, it's been a lot. Brandon, you probably see some of it on Snapchat, but you know, I've been doing some crazy stuff. So, y'all, this is our 100th episode. We're going to have a lot this episode to unpack, and not going to hold you guys too long, but we're going to celebrate us. This is straight up. This is us. This is our family, and our last episode. Could it be? Maybe not. Who knows? But it's our 100th episode. For right now, it is our final episode, and we're going to explain why. Make sure you stay tuned to the Str8Up Show Podcast. And right now, here's some special shout-outs from special people. Straight up.
Congratulations, Calvin, on doing your podcast. I love your grandmommy's party. That will always be my favorite. But I also love your competitions that you have. Cereal, my top one. But I love how I learn things about culture. I love how I learn about the travels or places of different traveling. And I just love hearing points of view. The points of view from people I may or may not agree with, but I love that you give them that opportunity. Thank you. And you keep going, whatever you're going to do.
I would like to say congratulations to the Str8Up Podcast for their 100th episode. And I was honored to be able to be on one of their episodes that they had. It was a great environment to be in, and I'm really happy that I got to connect with Cal. So thank you so much for having me, you guys.
To my man Calvin and the Str8Up, podcast, man. My experience on the show was wonderful, man. We talked about a lot of stuff, covered a lot of ground, man. I just want to congratulate you on your 100th episode, man. This is one hell of a way to close out.
I think straight up means to be able to speak in a way that is straight up, to be honest, and to speak your truth.
Raw, uncut, you know what I mean? It's blunt, straight to the point. This is what it is.
It's just a place to be open and honest, and that's what I appreciate most about it. And it provides a place for community members to come together and just be straight up with each other about things that are going on in the world, because it affects all of us.
Unfiltered, raw, with all the cursing that Calvin does.
Straight up is just being real, telling it like it is, being you.
Being solid, being who you are, no matter what it is, no matter what situation you're faced with. All right, this is who you are. It really speaks to me, saying it is what it is and it ain't what it ain't. Straight up.
Hi, I'm Shishi, and I just want to congratulate Str8Up Show Podcast on their 100th episode. Me personally being on there, I really enjoyed it. I had a super fun time with Calvin. He made me feel really comfortable, and it was really easy to talk. And yeah, I'm just super excited for them. Congratulations to you guys.
Congratulations on your 100 episodes of a podcast. Trust me, I know that is milestone, because I only made it through 7 of my own podcast episodes. But I'm going to miss the show. You kept things straight up. You kept things honest. I learned a lot from your other guests. And Calvin, we're going to miss you.
Hey, shout out to your 100th show. That is amazing. Hey, we're going for 1,000 more. Keep going.
Big congratulations to the Str8Up Podcast for reaching 100 episodes. And I'm so blessed to be a part of those 100 episodes. And my favorite thing about being on this podcast was the fact that I could keep it real. And it was just a fun time, and having great conversations is the best time of being a musician. So thank you guys so much for giving me your platform, and congratulations.
All right, welcome back to the Str8Up Show Podcast, the 100th episode of Str8Up. Man, this is a spectacular moment. I can't believe we are at 100 episodes, not of Str8Up, but of the podcast version of Str8Up. I think we only did like 3 But I am your host, Calvin, joined by my co-host, Christina and Brandon. Man, I have missed them. This is their first episode this season because they left me hanging. I'm just kidding. But no, they've been doing some great things out there, making the world different and making an impact in the world. So Christina's been traveling. Brandon's been working like in Lee. It's working right now. So I am so proud of y'all. But y'all, we are at 100 episodes of Straight Up, man. Like Christina, let's just start off. Like, what does that mean to actually be at 100 episodes of a podcast?
What does that mean? I'm going to sum it up real quick. That is discipline and dedication. It's really a lot of time. There's been a lot of work, a lot of seasons, a lot of behind the scenes work for sure, a lot of networking and efforts that were put into getting to 100. Can you imagine when you started this again, making it to 20 episodes? And now you 100. You put a lot of work in on this. Everybody put a lot of work, but oh my God, Calvin, you made 100 episodes happen.
Man, it wasn't just me, man. Like, it wasn't just me. It was all y'all, you know, especially
regardless, I don't know. Is there an episode of Straight Up that did not have
he sucks at like just taking all of the he did it, but he's not gonna say it.
Yeah, I was like, but it's I'm not one to give you any kudos, but
or flowers.
You worked hard. You earned it. You really did. So Straight Up itself exists. It's synonymous with Calvin. So I will give you that every time. It's like, so I can talk and say, oh, this is amazing or anything, but you worked really hard for it. And I'm very proud of you for keeping Straight Up as it is and making sure that this has, it never died. You fought tooth and nail for it in the beginning and all the way to now. And who knows what the future will bring, but I'm sure it'll be you standing behind it the whole time. So that's the only thing that comes to mind when I see 100 episodes. I'm like, oh, Calvin, you did that. That's a lot of work. Congratulations. Aww. And thank you for inviting me, but not inviting me, but inviting me, but not inviting me.
Yeah. Wow. I say don't give me credit because, like I said, just and Brandon's right. Ever since he's known me, I've never been able to like accept like just I'm all about team and team effort. But I really feel like none of this would be without y'all. Not some stuff that, and I think this season was a testament that, hey, can I really do it by myself? Because it was, I'm like, man, I need somebody to piggyback off of, especially with Lee. Like, I need Lee to like, just to be that wingman or Brandon say, hey man, this is not working, this and this. And so like, man, it's, it was a challenge, but wherever I go, I always take y'all with me. I always brag about y'all. Y'all can even go on this season's episodes and listen to where there's not where at a moment I don't talk about y'all. So, but yeah, two things, Christina. There is an episode that is posted where I'm not on there. It's just you and Brandon. So there is one episode of not me on there. That did go on air.
You're on the wall. Okay.
Yeah, that's one. And two, yeah, in the very beginning, like I was editing Straight Up on my phone, the podcast on my phone. I think Brandon, you did the first two, like the first 5 episodes. I think you had the first 2 or 3. And I have to get close to Brandon because Brandon, like, we're like brothers, man, and he really pushed me to like really do it, because I was the way Brandon and I worked. We worked as a team in college, and so I was so used to like being the voice and Brandon being the technical side. And Brandon's like, "Hey, man, you gotta do it. You gotta figure it out on your own." And like, I want to thank you for that push and to make me like learn how to do it and kind of build it my way because I didn't know how to do none of this stuff. And kind of like this whole podcast is a learning experience because at the way if you go to episode 1 compared to right now, it is a stark difference. Like our first episode, all you hear is, "Hey, Brandon, and it's horrible. It is horrible to where you had to put money into it to like you want the best quality and like there's some sacrifices made and then something that so same with you, Brandon. You've been there since all of y'all have been there since day one. But Brandon, you've been here for the bulk of it. 100 episodes of this podcast version. What does that mean to you?
Man, I'm trying not to pull a CJ. I'm trying not to pull a CJ here. I'm gonna try to do this without shedding a tear too. Really, 100 episodes to me, just for lack of better words, is like me. You're not gonna accept it. Just screaming out to the world, look at what Calvin did, because you're right. Like, and even I don't know if you forgot, but like when that dark time, when like, you know, when we was talking about careers and stuff, and you was really trying to, like, you know, figure out what path. I even said, dude, everybody talks about your voice. Just do a podcast. I got a list, all this, you know. And then you went to you did the convention and you met the other guy, and even he commented right there again, you know, another token for God to show you, hey, you should probably think about this. And hey, somebody also said, do a podcast. I think I'm gonna do it. I'm like, cool, let's do it. You know, I know how to do it. I've done it. You know, help people plenty of times. You got it. Yeah, I mean, it was rough in the beginning, but as time went on, I was like, dude, straight up. When it came to the editing, I was like, I'm not seeing fully the vision like you see it. I need you to do this for it to work. Like, and you picked it up and you did it. It wasn't smooth in the beginning, but you still did it and made it to 100. And you got people loving it. You got cultures coming together, amazing conversations. 100 episodes mean that the people in the Bipsy building, the people that have talked to me, I tell you all the time, I don't let anybody talk trash about you. You know what I mean? Nobody does that. The people that have done that is here. Like 100 episodes. It's having a pod. I tell people all the time, having a podcast is not hard. Starting a YouTube channel is not hard. It's the consistency. It's getting and going that far with it and not stopping. You see how it is when you're out in the open, getting people spouting their opinions, but you are, you know, look, you are, people opinions don't matter to me. So like, it's easy for me, but you know, getting people opinions like about your content and all that, you push through all of that with 100 episodes. So that's what 100 means to me, is that you took 100 steps and made it to a milestone. So yeah, really trying not to pull a Will Smith here, but yeah, that's what 100 episodes mean to me.
I appreciate that, man. Like, I appreciate the push, you know, and it wasn't easy. Like I said, man, we you know, just from I didn't know what I was doing, man. I didn't know what I was doing. Even I've been wanting to change our theme song for a minute, but that's what I just wanted to stick with it for a while. But that, like, just hearing the theme music, like, it just made me want to get back into other assets in my life that I wasn't using, like making beats. Like, you know, like, just even Brandon came on today, I was like in the middle of making a beat, like, Brandon, what are you like? Just like, so I haven't made beats.
Still making plans.
Yeah.
I was like, it never stops.
And I think like that's kind of like
if it was up to me. Okay.
What you say?
Okay, if this was up to me, this would be like episode 62. That's how much further ahead you are right now.
And my thing is that it's a lot of people don't understand, like, especially with me, and this is personal. I was gonna say this to the end of the show, but like when you are faced with death and like they give you a 50% chance of living, like that really kind of puts your mind at like some kind of way, you know. And admittedly, you know, we talked about this on the show before. Like, I have PTSD, and like from a number of things, you know, and one of them is almost dying, you know, and so it's just like, man, I have to work, you know, and like, you know, there are people that did count us out, you know, that said that we wouldn't, you know, say we wouldn't do this or we wouldn't get this far. And what makes it so funny to me is that the same people that counted us out, they have to witness people copying one of our episodes for their own personal like work. That is not. It didn't make me mad. It made me like, dang, like you biting off my stuff, and like, you know. So to me, it's like, dang, you know, I give myself a pat on my back, you know, and you three have really challenged me because personally, it's like, man, you know, like, you know, I can say I got a little ego problem sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, and be quiet. But you know, you all, even from day one, you all have humbled me. Like even just like even when we first started this whole thing, me, Brandon, and Lee and Courtney, you know, I was like, I don't want to be the host. I didn't want to be the host. Like y'all were like, no, be the host. People, I'm like, I didn't want to be the host. Like I've never hosted anything in my life, you know. And so, you know, even from the beginning, y'all pushed me in that limelight to like, you know what, you know, you are the one to do it. And like, and it kind of felt bad because once I was done with the politics in the beginning of the podcast, Straight Up, we saw what happened when I left, and that kind of showed like, man, like, you know, if I leave, it's a big deal. So just to have people to hold me up like you and Brandon and Lee and Courtney, you know, that really makes me feel like I'm a better person because of y'all. So I really want to thank y'all right now. I think 100 episodes, to me, it went by pretty fast. Like I think I can get to this by myself because like, man, it's gonna be a struggle just to like push, you know, because to me this was like college all over. Because in my last year in college, I had to do 8 classes the one semester because I didn't want to go back to school in the spring. So I feel like this is college all over again, to where I had to push out almost 22 episodes in one season just to make sure we can hit 100. So I don't have to go back for a new season. But we're here now, you know. So right now, this is episode, I don't know right now, but, you know, we're at 20-something episodes this season, which is the most that we had ever so on this podcast. But we've had 100 crazy episodes. I want to hear from Brandon right quick. What's some of your favorite episodes that you've been a part of, or maybe something you haven't been a part
of? Let's see. Out of the Music Mondays, you had some great Music Mondays. I wish I was part of Haley's because I know her, and she's an amazing artist. That was like back when you was really starting with Music Mondays. Obviously, the Black Barbershop was my favorite. That was pretty much one of the first times I was really in a Black barbershop. So there was that. We got some people in the live chat too. You have pretty much almost all of the. I even like the abortion one we did, you know, because for the first time, and I was happy we was able to. We had a conversation about abortion, but we had some actual answers on how we as people outside of the laws can actually do better about that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go listen to it, especially the guys, because I mean, we talked about us quite a bit, Christina. But yeah, it's those conversations I really enjoyed the most.
Yeah, that abortion episode, that was, man, Christina and Riddy, they just woo. And like it came from a place of love, but they wanted us to understand too. But you know, just to have Riddy like and Christina really just come at us like woo, you know, and you know, and I think the one thing about this show I'm gonna miss the most is that, you know, especially with Brandon with our Asian discrimination episode where me and you kind of like butt heads about it big time. And shout out to Lee because Lee kind of put me and you down and like, you know, man, it's like what made me understand like what the importance of doing this episode, because the way I looked at that episode was that, you know what, well, I'm Black, well, I'm always getting discriminated against anyway, so why should we care about, not really why should we care about Asians, but it's like, you know what, they're finally experiencing what we're going through. And so like I had to educate myself and be educated. And I think this podcast was able to let all of us be vulnerable to where we can actually learn from each other. You know what I mean? And so that's the reason why I love like working with y'all, because we have these conversations, these tough conversations. Christina, what were some of your favorite episodes that you've been a part of or that you actually saw?
My favorites are always going to be the ones where it's an actual conversation being had and where you're sharing your thought process with each other. Using the abortion episode as an example, I'm okay with people giving their opinions, and I love to give my own opinion, of course. But those are my favorite ones because those are the ones that I'm like, you get something, you leave with something, or you should leave with something. So those are always my favorite episodes. Any actual discussion based episode is going to be high up on there with me. But I'll be a little sentimental, and I've said this plenty of times before. My favorite parts of any straight up episode is the before and the after. I was like, because what we show is wonderful, but the continued conversation is always my absolute favorite. I wish some of the viewers were privy to those conversations. They were great, but any episode that I really got to, spend the time hearing, thoughts between you or Brandon, I love, like anything involving like, I don't remember the title, but it was about, being black, being a black man here. I love that episode. It's very near and dear to me, just hearing, your takes on how it is getting up every day and experiencing things. Even Brandon being reckless. I'm not taking off my jacket. I was like, oh, okay. Here we go. He's loose cannon. But those are the ones that I like. I don't have a specific one in mind right now. I'm pulling up a blank, to be honest.
It's okay.
But any of those are my absolute favorite moments because the entertaining ones are wonderful, but I'm just a person who enjoys conversation and heavier discussions and things. So knowing that there's some depth to the people in front of these screens, being able to show that means a lot to me. So anytime that you had a guest who was willing to put themselves out here dealing with their own personal lives or any issues, being an advocate for someone else, I'm very grateful to everyone who ever stopped by and gave us their minds for a little while, gave us their views.
Yeah, and that especially shout out to our guests. We had some phenomenal guests, Dr. Monique Thompson, Miss Crystal with the Women's Abuse Center. Just a lot of people, and I'm drawing a blank too, but just PJ and Kitty, some of our most, even though they were controversial, but they were also the most insightful and kept it straight up as well. Same with Taylor Moore, advocate for men's health. And a lot of these people that came on, I like the where they come on. First off, I love to where we have guests and they put Christina in her place. That's always the best kind. I love those guests. So, it makes me feel good about myself to see Christina get. No, I'm just kidding. But
what does that say about you, Calvin? Really? What does that say about you?
Because it gets you off my back. That's what it does.
Brandon?
No, Brandon.
Wait. Are you gonna let him talk about me like this, Brandon? I thought we were good.
I'm honestly trying to figure out what guest was able to do that.
There was one.
PJ and Kitty, that's who.
What?
Multiple times.
Kitty actually didn't put her in the cave.
Oh, yes, they did.
It was more so, and I was in a similar way. PJ and Kitty would just always want to get information or from us. It's like, no, that's not what we're talking about today.
No, I think this was it was just me and Christina. I don't think you were here this one. It was just me and Christina on one of them, and like they were like, no, Christina, no, Cal, it's not his turn. It's your turn, Christina. Like, oh boy, I was like, yes.
Like, we're gonna have to run that one back one day and give this another listen. I don't know.
All right, man, and that has definitely been an incredible journey. Shout out to all our guests that's been there and been supportive and made us cry, man. I've had some episodes to where I've actually, cried, especially this season. It's been great. Right now, we are broadcasting live as we're recording. We're recording live on Facebook, and we have some messages from people. Brandon, read those messages to us, please.
First of all, Lori is up in here. First of all, she says, "Great to see Christina and I," which
Hi,
we're two of the most straight up in the crew. So to see that Tay has the fireballs and the muscle arms during the conversation, but his wait a minute. I want to make sure I'm getting these pronouns right. Anyway, favorite episode is all of them. So that says a lot. Loving all 100 episodes. Listen here. Laura also said, "You all did a great job with the podcast. Thank you for the gifts you all have given, sharing your different points of views. Thanks for keeping it straight up." And we do all day, every day.
Yeah, shout out to Laura. She's been our number one supporter and our number one sponsor on this show. So shout out to Lori for actually supporting us from day one and actually contributing to our show and giving back and talking to us. I think one of the best things about the show is that we were able to get this brand and we're able to brand it to where we can be in a position to give back to others and have people on the show that we can give back to, like the ones out there at Youth First, educating, getting books from Street Memorial Library. And actually, Lori helped us with that, to get books from Street Memorial Library to donate to the people out there in Oklahoma for our youth and sports organizations as well out there in Oklahoma. So shout out to Lori for doing that and assisting with us, and Street Memorial Library for donating the books to those kids. So that's also been a great thing to help kids today with their education as well. We've had a lot of fun memories or just having a good time on this podcast. And I think that just to have people like Tay and Lori and people that actually say that, you know what, all these episodes are great. But let me tell you, I say start at episode 10 and then go from there, because the first 10 were just horrible. I'm not gonna lie to you. So just I'm just kidding.
Sir.
I think one of my favorite episodes really was to actually have a college reunion, a straight up reunion, to actually have. It's our season one. Actually, that's our number one most downloaded episode. Is our season one finale, which is we had the straight up reunion. Which we had former castmates come back and talk about Straight Up as the show. So that's still to this day our number one most downloaded episode. So shout out to our old crew. What do y'all remember about the old episodes Straight Up? And before we even get started, shout out to Christina for being one of the main ones still here, because she has been a guest on every episode of Straight Up, even on the first one. So what do you remember the most about the TV version of it, Christina?
I remember having those table talks that, oh my God, those were hilarious. I remember, I'm not going to say the name just in case they don't want to be mentioned, but having back-to-back beef with this one person over topics. Those are what I remember the most. And I remember a lot of looking out at everyone making it happen. And that's a kind of, I can't describe that or anything. You see people behind the camera, you see people in the rooms and in the studios making things happen. And I was like, the busyness of it. I was like, oh wow, they're doing things. I was like, things are happening. This is something real. It's not just an idea of people sitting around talking. I was like, there's real discussions here. And there was a lot of personality around that table of everybody talking. So I was like, it's actually happening and it's doing what it's designed to do. People are having conversations and a lot of valid points were made, and some people's perspectives on a lot of things changed. So I remember, like I said, I can't say the names because I don't know if anybody wants to be mentioned, but I can remember exactly who sat in what seat on certain episodes. And I remember some of those conversations getting way off on a separate tangent because we would go somewhere else. And I remember some of them getting so serious that, we'd been like, okay, we gotta go to something else first.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So.
How to get y'all back in.
But those were really those are really cool moments to look back on, and to be able to see starting from there to seeing it continue here. I'm just like, wow, look at y'all making things happen here. I'm sorry I'm
Y'all,
putting this pencil in this camera, but I have to fidget.
you're like in full teacher mode right now. Get the whole pencil and like the
I can't help it. I have to fidget. I got nerves, y'all. But,
I think
it's I don't know. It's a good feeling to look back. It's very like, I don't know. It's a good little warm fuzzy feeling. Gotcha.
I don't know if you remember this, Brandon, but like the reason why I had like I don't know if you remember this, Christina, or you knew this at all, but we specifically had certain people, because if you watch the episodes, there was always one white guy, one white girl, one black guy, one black girl. Did you notice that at all, or no?
That was very noticeable.
Oh, okay, whatever. I mean, Brandon, do you remember why we did that at all, or no?
Yeah, I remember why we did it, but there was multiple reasons. But I do know for the episode in particular, we specifically wanted Christina and that other person there.
Oh yeah,
because we knew,
we
knew there'd be, because even then you was like, I need somebody that can compete with Christina. Even all those years back.
Business, I like to have. I'm like, I am a person who's like, ask me the question, I want to answer it, and I'm gonna give you a response. Like, come on. But the person that I was kind of paired with for that, I had no problems with. I love that person. But I was like, oh, you're gonna say something so jacked up, and I can't wait for it.
Speak for yourself, because I mean, Anyway, we're not going to discuss that right now. Brandon, do you remember how we started Straight Up at all?
Yeah, I do. Before I get started, comment in the Facebook post. I'd love to see my people excelling and doing something positive, as well as giving awareness to so many different topics. But what I respect the most from the show is not being afraid to be straight up and speak their mind. Glad I was able to be a part. Praying hands.
Shout out to
sure.
5.
And that
the emoji narration
5.
is hilarious.
That's what it is. It's praying. It's the praying hands. Actually, it's the dark color praying hands. So yeah.
Shout out to 5. Make sure y'all catch his episode, Straight Up Music Monday 5. His album's out right now. Man, he's a great rap artist, very different, and with the bird with us, Christina. So so I'll tell you. Yeah, so he's out here doing big things, So so glad to be part of his journey too. But yeah, Brandon, do you remember how this show started, or how Straight Up came about?
Bro, I swear, okay, I swear it was in a Mr. Gaddy's pizza. It was either at Johnny's or Mr. Gaddy's. But I don't think people fully understand, especially how media has changed since then. I don't think people understand how technical. When we say we made an actual show, we made an actual show. Like, you see the episodes on YouTube. These are not like DSLR cameras or anything. No, there's these production cameras, 3 of them. I think we even had a jib for one of them, a jib. And you have somebody on a switcher, putting up the graphics. We have people sending questions, going out, asking questions, interviews. This was a full-on show that was put together. It's not like, what you see YouTubers do nowadays. This was a full collaborative production that was put on. Even I think we even had to run a script sometimes just to know where we were. And even skits, we had skits. So you see these things. These are not like, DSLR cameras and cut all this. No, this was all done live. And that's why it's such a big deal. Like, this wasn't like just some small thing that Straight Up started as. It was a broadcast show. With that being said, it was just something we wanted to do. It was just us trying to fill a void, a space. 1, because we wanted a place where people can speak, but 2, they needed content for their channel. And we was like, hey, here's a dumb idea. You get us three guys the power to do this idea we have, and we give you a show. And then the cool instructors we have is like, what's the worst that can happen? Okay. And as they say, that's how the story went. That's legit how it went. And, you know, of course, that's had a couple rocks and walls along the way, but we had people want to back us up, trusted us with equipment. Like I said, this wasn't like some small YouTube, you know, guerrilla shooting, nothing. No, this was professional-ish we're talking about. Like, this was a show, and we was able to pull it off so much that people did want to, you know, be a part of it and change it to where it wasn't what it was anymore. And like we say often on the show, the moment Calvin stepped away, look, it just wasn't the same. I was like, I ain't dealing with that person. I'm not dealing with that person. This person don't know what they're doing. I'm out. I got better things to do.
Yeah,
that was how it was.
And I remember being around when that happened, the step back moment, and being like, "Where's Calvin? Calvin's not hosting today. Like, what's happening?" Because it was kind of like a routine thing. I was just like, something's happening right now, and I don't know what. But it was a different vibe. It was a different, like, the flow of the show kind of tried to stay the same, but it just felt a little different. And I remember just being like, okay, I don't have time anymore. I just had to take a little step back for a second. But it was a noticeable difference when it turned out, like, when it shifted roles like that. And that's very strange. Like, it's not strange, but it's something that you know, you knew immediately something's different, and it affected the flow. And you had some of the, you know, normal lineup. The host would change a little bit. You know, who was on the panel would change. It's like, okay, yeah, this isn't what it was in the beginning, because I wasn't a part of, you know, the production team for this. You know, I was the only one who wasn't in scholarship or anything. So I was literally just a volunteer for this. If I was asked, I would show up. And eventually I was just like, no. I was like, I don't see Calvin. I don't see Brandon. I don't see this other person. I bow out. I don't know. This isn't what I agreed to, and I was out. But it was a very obvious shift in how everything worked, which, you know, just kind of lets you know that there was something very special and specific to having Calvin around to lead how this type of stuff go. As problematic as he can be, it's okay. You know, he's kind of necessary at times, just a little at times.
And this happens with businesses and networks all the time. You know, you have something good, and then you have the person, the owner of the umbrella or whatever, that trickle down and want to change things. And, you know, once again, this was all based on trust. There wasn't no contract, so it's not like we were bound by any means to do this. This was even something extra, you know. So, you know, once the powers that be wanted to change things and bring in their own people, I'm trying to put this in a way to where it's, like I said, businesses go through this often, and things change. No, there was no obligation to stay here. I'm not about to give you my skills, work, time, and all that. Even at that age, I was like, I'm not doing that.
And since we know we still do business with them right now, I just want to clear up some things. Like, one, you know, this show was surrounded by food, so let's put that to rest. I don't know if it was Johnny's or Gaddy's. It was definitely because we were hungry. I know we didn't have the munchies. Wink, wink. We're just hungry, and but definitely was surrounded by food. And me, Lee, Courtney, and Brandon came up with this idea. But, you know, I don't think our idea was the only one pitched to them. There were others, but I think ours just stood out. And one thing people don't really realize, especially back then, is that, you know, Brandon and me and Lee and Courtney, we were all part of a scholarship program to where we did the daily news, and that we had, you know, we got paid to go to school, you know, so And so, but there are people like Christina and other people behind the cameras that didn't have the opportunity outside of school to actually use the equipment, to actually work to get extra. So that's why we wanted to have it run by students, because this gave people who wanted to come voluntarily to work extra on their projects, or how to use a camera, how to direct, how to make different graphics and stuff, because we were teaching each other. So basically what we learned in scholarship program, we would give to our peers. And so that's what made me want to get involved with Str8Up, because it gave us a chance to give back to people who were trying to get their higher education but couldn't really afford to get extra training. So it was always about giving back to other people. And the moment that even right now, like we started this episode today, I said, hey, Brandon, Christina, just follow my lead. I have no idea where we're going with this episode, but hey, just follow my lead. And that's 99.9% how this podcast has been for 100 episodes. I don't come in with a script at all. I never come in with a script. I just say, hey, follow my lead. Either the people that I've interviewed, like, I don't tell them, like, I want to ask this question, unless it's like a celebrity that I have to present questions to them. But other than that, I don't have a script. It's all top of my head. And I think that, back in the day when they said, hey, we want you to have a script, I'm like, that's not me being straight up, because I can't, if I'm not in my group to flow and be authentic when I'm interviewing people, then it's not real. It's good to have like notes, but to have an actual script and like put laughter right here and a joke right there, no, that's not Str8Up. That defeats the purpose. And so, and that name Str8Up means a lot to me. And it's not because about just being honest. It's about being authentic of who you are. We're going to talk about more of where Str8Up is going and the authenticity of Str8Up, the name itself, on the other side of the break. Make sure you stay tuned to the 100th episode of Str8Up. On the other side of the break, make sure you stay tuned.
Hey, Str8Up Podcast. Congratulations on 100 episodes. How bloody amazing. It's Abby from Australia. I was talking about kangaroos jumping down the street, which is kind of funny because I almost got cleaned up by one this morning on the way to work. Anyway, congratulations to the team. I hope the next step is just as amazing, and a big, huge well done.
Yo, it's your boy D Park, coming here live from the Str8Up Podcast. Yo, 100 episodes. Wow. I heard podcasting isn't easy. A lot of people don't make it past the 5th episode. So you already killing it, man. Continue to do what you're doing. And, you need it in this space. So don't stop.
Thank you for having me twice on the show. And congratulations on your 100 episodes about Str8Up Podcast. J'étais ravie de vous avoir et de vous avoir écouté, d'être présente. Ça m'a fait vraiment super plaisir. J'espère vous revoir tous bientôt. Salut, bye bye.
Huge shout out, big congratulations to Str8Up Podcast for their 100th episode. Congratulations again.
Hey Calvin, this is Mama. I just wanted to say congratulations to y'all at the Str8Up Podcast show for y'all 100th episode. I have been watching since day one, and I'm so proud to see how much you guys have grown. And I'm so very, very proud of each and every one of y'all for everything y'all done for the show to make it succeed. So, congratulations again, and that I love you. I love all of y'all, and I pray for each one of y'all's success in the future.
The videos and images displayed all across the world cannot fully express what the people of Ukraine are going through. This senseless act of terrorism has cost many their lives and forced millions of Ukrainians out of their homes. Yet it's the Ukrainians' pride and resiliency that has inspired the entire world. So we here at Str8Up ask you to stand for freedom, stand for human rights, but most importantly, join us as we stand with Ukraine.
Tired of the same old boring clothes? Want to support your favorite podcast but don't know how? Well, you're in luck. The Str8Up Show Podcast store is finally here. In our Teespring shop, you can find all the merch that tells the world you're keeping it straight up. From t-shirts to masks to even leggings, our store has you covered. Just visit Str8UpShowPodcast.com and click that merchandise button. That's Str8UpShowPodcast.com.
Hey everybody out there, I'm Sultan Salahuddin from Southside. Season 3 is out right now on HBO Max. Make sure you tune in, and make sure you tune in to the Straight Up Podcast Show whenever you are online. Peace.
Hey, what's up? It's Brian O'Brien, Program Director from WBOB Radio, and I gotta send a big congratulations out to Calvin and the Str8Up Podcast crew. You guys have hit a milestone, man. 100 episodes. Congratulations. Keep on doing what you're doing, and here's to 100 more. And a lot of those episodes, man, have been heard right here on WBOB Radio. You can check it out each and every Sunday at 5 p.m. Central on WBOBradio.live. Remember, just like everybody else, I'm staying straight up. Congratulations. Peace.
All I gotta say is congratulations on your 100th episode. Str8Up Podcast, you know it's Tay Baby is rocking with you guys till the wheels fall off. All I have to say is I am so proud of you guys. Thank you for even having me on. One of your episodes had to be one of the best podcasts I've ever been on. You guys make me feel so welcome, so like at home. You make me feel heard, loved, and all I gotta say is I'll be back on your show whenever you guys want me to, because we family. So like I said, congratulations to you guys on the 100th episode. Love you guys so much. God bless. Have a good one.
Hey, this is David from the Unheard Word Podcast. Giving a shout out for 100 episodes to Str8Up. Thank you for all of the knowledge and information that you've given, and the encouragement and inspiration to get us to do our own thing as well. Appreciate you and hope you keep up with the good work. God bless you on whatever your future endeavors are. Keep it coming.
Hey, this is Coach Rachel Jones with Swoosh Athletics, Youth First, and the Coach and Community Partnership. And I just wanted to send a special congratulations to Calvin and to the entire Str8Up Show podcast for your 100th episode. We were incredibly honored to be featured on one of the episodes and appreciate your continued support for our organization. So congratulations, Calvin, and to the Str8Up Show podcast.
What is up, Str8Up Show? I just want to say congratulations on your 100th episode. Would you start this from college? That is crazy. I'm so proud of you guys. I love being on your show. I feel like it was one of my best in 2023. Thank you for having me again. And once again, congratulations for all the hard work you guys have put in.
100 episodes of Str8Up Podcast. That is an amazing accomplishment. I'm so proud of you. Keep it up. I know whatever else you do in life after this, you're going to be successful at. Known you for forever, since we were kids, from church camp to everything. I'm very proud of you. I love you, and just keep on grinding. Keep on doing what you do.
We're celebrating the 100th episode of Str8Up. I love my cousin Calvin. I'm supportive of all the positive things he's done with this podcast. And I just want to say congratulations on finishing out something that you started. Happy 100th episode. Straight up.
All right, welcome back to the Str8Up Show Podcast, our 100th episode. I want to thank our special guests for giving us a shout out. Y'all have been a great part. Thank you so much for listening to the episode. These over the past year, 2 years, 3 years, we've been doing this. I don't know how many years it's been, but we started during COVID, right before COVID, I think. I'm not for sure. I think, and what y'all don't know is that this has been done on Zoom, and I haven't been in the same room with Brandon and Christina. Well, collectively, we have not been in the same room together in almost 12 years. So it just shows you the power of social media and how technology has definitely changed, because I don't think we could have done this maybe back in college days, right? I don't think we could have done this in college, not like this anyway.
Too much work.
Too much work, yeah. Especially what DeGero.
Yeah. They had Skype. Well, they just had Skype even back then.
Yeah, DeGero and remember all that stuff. They still use DeGero, by the way. So anyway, my bad. Sorry, sidetrack. Brandon knows what I mean. Dang, y'all still use DeGero? That's so bad. Anyway, But welcome back to the episode, y'all. My name is Calvin. I am joined by Christina and Brandon. Lee is on assignment doing his own thing right now. Shout out to Lee. And shout out to Courtney, too. We never have not got Courtney on the show, which is crazy. But, shout out to Courtney. Courtney's always been the biggest. He has been on the episode, just a flashback to where I talked about him like doing the news. And he was like... But shout out to Courtney, man. I miss him. Courtney is definitely a great guy. Big part of the success of this podcast. And
you know what? In a way, it's kind of accurate. It's kind of apt that Courtney's not around.
Why is that?
Because I can see his face, but I do not hear Courtney's voice. Every time I saw him, he was so quiet. That's it. He was just the quiet one. Brandon did all the talking and stuff, and Courtney was just there, like it was a Jay, Silent Bob type thing. I swear.
It really is kind of,
but he's not.
So. It really is kind of like that a little bit. Yeah, man, we're doing 100 episodes, y'all. We have definitely made it to 100. I didn't think we would make it this far, to be honest with you. But you know what? I did think I did know it. You know what? I did know it. I ain't gonna lie. This season, I was kind of scared because I didn't have Christina or Brandon, but man, early, so I was like, man, what am I going to do? But guess what? I like to talk. So here we go. And I think a lot of people, which I don't understand about the way, because we've had some phenomenal guests. We've had guests on this podcast that I thought that I could never get in a million years. I tell you, I'm gonna be problematic, Christina. You ready? I'm glad to say that I've gotten interviews from people that I could have not gotten with my previous employer, or people at my previous employer could have done organically, if that makes sense, Brandon. I guess I don't know if that makes sense. But like,
yeah, no, that makes sense.
Okay, sorry. But it's like, people, even like during my college days, my first ever interview was William Joyce, an Oscar winner, the day after he won an Oscar. And I interviewed William Joyce. And I remember there was a guy at a competitive news station that was trying to get an interview with him, but William Joyce wouldn't interview with him, but just me, because William Joyce said he felt more comfortable with me. So like ever since my whole career, him saying that really meant a lot to me. And people don't know William Joyce, Disney's Roly Poly Oly, definitely that big sign in Shreveport, Sideport, the old Sideport, if y'all remember that. But that was my first interview. So ever since then, I've had a knack to where, I look at somebody tells me, no, I don't want to interview you. I look at as no as NO, next opportunity. Like, keep going. Like, all you can do is tell me no, So I can tell you right now, there's been 100 episodes, but I promise you I've had 200 no's about coming on the podcast. So even like some people right now that may be watching, like, hey man, like, cause I'll interview with you, but man, and they'll bail on you. So I mean, a lot of podcasting and being an interviewer is that you have to accept no sometimes, and it sucks. But now that we coming to a close to the end, I want to hear from Brandon. What's something that you're going to miss about the podcast?
Well, obviously, it's existence. I mean, but don't get me wrong, I have no faith that you're just gonna let Str8Up go. So, pretty much this is existence. I'm quite sure that there's some people out there that's gonna miss having the episodes come. I have no doubt about that, and I feel that. So that's it's gonna be a void that somebody. It's like your favorite TV show. Yeah, once it ends, especially the 12 episodes. I preferably anime, but but it's like a favorite TV show that's no longer there. It's going to hurt a lot of people, and they're gonna need to void. And I guess the only other thing is, and it's obviously your choice. You have to decide, okay, do I want to move on to something else to kind of fill that void, or do I just let it what they say, exit with grace or whatever. But yeah, that's for me. That's what it is.
And Christina, what would you miss the most?
The banter. I'll miss that. But yeah, I think I'd miss my little co-hosts, my little buddies, my guys right here most. But I can't get to say that completely because you're still accessible. I can technically harass you at any given moment I want. So you're lucky that I don't. You're welcome. But I don't look at it sadly or anything. I can look back very fondly, very proudly for everything that it is. Leave out when you're doing really well, instead of, dying out. Because you always have a chance to come back to it. There's potential for anything to happen at this point if you choose. If Calvin just wakes up one day and says, you know what, I want to do 101. 101, here it goes, so it's not gone. It's just, tabled for the moment. I don't have any sadness in me about it. This was a big thing, but I will miss you guys the most, like being able to have this moment to talk and laugh, because I hadn't talked to you guys for a very, 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 very long time before you reached out to me with an offer to, get on for an episode or two here and there. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. Literally had not talked to either of you in 5-6 years at that point, at least. Like, I hadn't even seen you guys in town. And you're just like, hey, and it picked up right where it is. So I have no doubts that it could happen that way all over again. It could be next week. It could be months to a year from now. You're like, hey, you still up for it? And I'll still be there right where we left off. With you being you and Brandon being Brandon.
Always. And for the people that will miss, if you have not paid for the Patreon in any way, there's content on there. Especially if you want to hear more Christina. There's a ton of Christina jumping on me on there. And hey, let that fill whatever void until Calvin decides what he's gonna do.
One more thing here though, since you brought that up. I know I gave Calvin all his kudos before, but I give Brandon equal parts, but I don't have to say it to Brandon as much. Brandon knows I think he's amazing at this. You don't get the kudos. But no, Brandon has given a lot to this podcast. Whether you know it or not, whether he wants to talk to it or not, he's taken a lot on with it. Brandon and Calvin have gone through a lot to keep this going on every way you can look at it. Every argument that could have been had, I feel like they've had it, but they keep pulling through to make this happen. Because I'm sure somebody at one point is probably like, you know what, I'm done with this. But look at them, they're still here. So there was a lot that went into it. It wasn't always really easy. They put a lot in. They genuinely invested themselves into making this podcast happen. So I'm very proud of the two of you. I'm glad that, you pushed through with it. And, Brandon's really stubborn too, y'all. Like, I know he seems like the easygoing one here, but Brandon is ridiculous to deal with sometimes, work ethic wise. Like, he's ambitious, he's very driven, and that can be insufferable at times. But, he's another driving force in making this get to where it is. So I give you your hand claps as well. You've done really well. And I'll miss him the most, Calvin. Because he gets me. Brandon gets me, okay? He's my friend here.
Well, I do feel I get Christina, yeah.
This podcast would not be anything without Mr. Lee. Lee is definitely somebody that is he definitely, there would be no podcast without Lee, and I say that very graciously because he gave time to where he had to give his voice to us and take time out, and all y'all had taken time out to y'all's business. And I want to say this, like, I want to thank y'all because you've made, I guess, my hobby into y'all's personal life. So I look at it as my hobby, but y'all entertained it. And so I thank you for that sacrifice y'all have made, especially Lee, to where there are days it would be summer and Lee would be dedicated to come just still record for us, or have to go get in the closet because he couldn't, the static, and there would be a thunderstorm and Lee still showing up, and but to hear, Lee not have certain opportunities on the original Straight Up to use his voice, like Lee's voice is one of the best, commercial wise. Like I'm like, man, this is Lee, and I think one of my best commercials that Lee's done is, and it was very problematic on and Christina's right. I'm very problematic. I'm not gonna lie. I learned to accept that personally and in relationships too. Wink, wink. But we did a commercial about a PSA about Black Lives Matter, and it was a white guy voicing about Black Lives Matter. And when I posted that, man, people were just like, "How do you know?" And like, if you see our platforms, it's always the Straight Up logo. It's never a picture of all of us. It's a picture of just a logo. So the guy was like, "You're white. How do you got black friends?" I'm like, bro. Does Lee have black friends? But but it was just amazing to like be transparent, and Lee's voice really has been the focal point of one of our biggest merchandise sellers. So I'm gonna miss Lee's voice and doing our PSAs, and like me, Brandon, and Lee worked the same job before. Actually, crazy. At least it works in like media right now, professionally. But dang, Brandon does too now. I forgot, my bad. Sorry. But like y'all still work in media. Yeah. But Lee still works in professionally with media. But it's crazy because y'all don't understand that like we run a podcast like how we did at our old job, to where we actually have like PSAs. Like those PSAs are, one, they're written, which Lee did before. The beats are all made by me, but those are all original, organic, edited by Brandon and me. But that's all us. Like that's not bought, that's not made. We created all that on our own because that's kind of how we did it. So a lot of the commercials that you hear, that's all organic. It's not bought, it's not paid for, it's all organic. So to see Brandon and Lee use their voices for commercials, man, like I'm proud of that, because that, to me, I still like Brandon, the Mardi Gras one. That's still like, man, that's just still like. So it's just to see people use their creative voices and see Brandon do it and Lee do it. But like Lee, being my proofreader for stuff, and Lee's part of the LGBT community. And one of our more, I like learning about this episode is that me and Lee can have our discussions about me being previously, not understanding the gay community or the LGBT community, into where we can have open discussion about that, to where every year of our podcast, we had an episode dedicated just for Pride Month. And, that has been like some of our best episodes. But like, there was a situation with Dave Chappelle, I think, and that I didn't understand it, but Lee had to break it down to me understand. Like, so Lee has definitely been help me with the words, y'all, but like he's definitely my self-conscious, or my side conscious.
Your Jiminy Cricket.
Basically, yeah. Because even when we had our dispute about the whole Asian discrimination thing, like, he was in my ear about it. Like, hey, this is what you should, this is why you should. So, man, like, I want to miss Lee because of that, man, because he is one of the most talented people I've ever met. His brain is just amazing, man, and creative. So, I mean, all three of y'all are creative, but man, just to have just you and Lee together, Brandon, like, man, y'all have definitely been like the backbone, and I think what really makes me proud to be doing this with y'all is that I have other guests, even after the show's been recorded and done, and they left, to come back and say, how is Brandon doing? How's Christina doing? Like, hey, and that makes me proud, because y'all been an impact on people. Y'all's voices made an impact on people, to where it's not just me they remember y'all as well. And so even with the whole thing about like the transgender episode about my friend coming on as a transgender, and like Lee looking out for her, and not, that made her feel special. So like just to hear that happen in our guests, that makes me proud of y'all. So a big kudos to Lee. Thank you, Lee, and for being a part of this journey as well. All right, and Lee has a message for us. Lee.
Hey everybody, it's your BFF Lee here, and I just want to say thank you so much for listening, watching, commenting on everything Straight Up over the years. It's been an incredible journey. I just want to thank Calvin in particular for inviting me not just to help, build the show, to make the show, but to, come on and be a voice on it. You took a chance on this little queer idiot and put me out there, and I think we made some really fun stuff. Like, I just really enjoyed, like cartoon therapy. That one was such a labor of love that I like honestly can't get it out of my head and want to, maybe revisit it someday in some capacity. Who knows? And yeah, like the video game tournament. Oh my God, we definitively defined that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is the greatest video game franchise of all time, and you cannot dispute that. It is fact now, and yeah, we said that. You can't take that from us. And yeah, man, just Calvin, Christina, Brandon, oh my God, everyone, like CJ, Daz, everyone that's like guested on the show, everyone that has been involved in some minor capacity has just killed it, and I know everyone involved. This is not the end. This is just the beginning for everyone, because everyone involved in the creation of this thing is going on to like great things. Like I just know it. Myself included. YouTube.com/@yourbfflee. Thanks guys. Love you. Bye.
Yeah, so big thanks to Lee, man. Really big thanks to Lee. Brandon.
I mean, going back to like the very beginning, when we talked about even why Str8Up should come back on the podcast, for me, in Lee's standpoint, because Lee has always been the one, because of where he lives, where he's always been the one that kind of is restricted from what opportunities, I should say, because of where he lives and his life. And we talked about Lee writing a lot because that's one thing he wants to do. He wants to write. He always wanted to do his YouTube thing. So like him getting used to like creating the content, the voiceovers and all that stuff going on. Yeah, Lee stepped away basically to make sure the quality stays for Str8Up, because with him living in the boonies, him coming in and out, he just didn't want that to really mess up the quality of the show. But I just looked back to see what the date, 2022 December, Lee said that he's working with Game Rants. One of the things that he really wanted to do. One of his YouTube videos, he passed a milestone on his YouTube, and some of his videos have gotten a lot of views. Like Str8Up, in the end, at least for me, I wanted to see that benefit Lee, and it ended up doing that very well. I mean, being a news writer for Game Rant is huge. And so like for me, once again, this is where like seeing Str8Up go, that type of stuff, is a pause. At least something else will come up. I'm quite sure. Like I said, I have no doubt. But it did its job for sure.
And I don't know if you remember, Brandon, I said, like, you asked me what the end game was. Like, that's part of it. Like, and one of the reasons why I'm leaving the podcast is because, and I want to wait, because I'm big on superstition, but like, I want to wait to tell y'all the big news. But, this fall, hopefully, I have a big opportunity. And it all came because of the podcast. So that's one reason why I want to kind of like step back, because, this podcast is kind of like a resume for all of us. Like, use it for your resume, use it to show people what you can do. And, but I'm glad that Lee's working out. Christina?
Leland, like literally is just a genuinely good person. I'm sure he's got a dark side to him somewhere, but I've never gotten to witness it.
He got some black in him, because
I've never gotten to witness like the worst of it, or anything. But hard work, sweet. brilliant, the funniest person on this whole cast, I swear. Like, if y'all have ever tuned in and caught a Lee episode, oh my God. And there's a bit of diabolicalness to him as well for some of those, tournaments and everything. Still mad about some of them. But Lee is, I don't know. I think about him and I'm like, I just want all the best, all the good things to happen. So hearing when these things are going well for him, I'm like, yes, it's just like Brandon said, it's doing what it's supposed to do. Thank God, like it's there because he deserves it. Everybody deserves these things, but I'm the most excited that he's gotten these opportunities because he's worked so hard for it. And, he's been so dedicated to it and he's good at it. Is another thing. So, sometimes it doesn't work out for everybody, but I'm still fingers crossed that everything just keeps going up and up for Lee. And if you haven't had a chance to experience this person, please go back and watch some of these episodes, especially in the beginning when he's just like gunning through it all. Like he is someone to keep your eyes and ears on. He will not let you down. He is solid. Like, give him that opportunity, support him if you can. He's working really hard. Everybody is, but Lee for sure. Like, just give Lee a chance. Okay, just like, he's amazing.
I'm just proud of all y'all, man, because like Lee doing this thing, Brandon doing this thing, and like you about to graduate, you're doing your thing. Like I can't help but smile. We can joke around, laugh, but I'm really proud of y'all. Like, I know where we come from, and just anchoring the news with Lee on. Like, I think me and Lee were the first two men to do the news together. Like, that's never been done. So I just remember being on the set with him and just being cool and like, I'm just proud of y'all, man. Like, I'm really proud of y'all. And Lee, he is the most devious person when it comes to like tournaments. Because he knows how to set people up to make us fight and get us to be controversial on these tournaments. But and our most controversial episode of all time is about OnlyFans, and that was Lee's idea, man. Like, and the way we had to like, and a lot of people get mad and say, "Well, y'all show's about OnlyFans." It's not, because you have to listen to it. But the way Lee constructed it was like brilliant. And it's one of our most downloaded episodes because like Lee just turned it to where, but it was a great concept. And so, and to hear that was like Lee's first episode to where it was just one out of many actually, because he has a bunch of like led episodes to where I just take a step back, which is very rare, but man, that episode of the OnlyFans was like, what do you ask an escort? What kind of questions do you ask? And it was just, he did it so well. Because me, I was like, I wanted to go in, and like Lee's like, nope, pause and just wait a minute, and just be polite and ask these questions. So I want to miss that part, because working with Lee, even through the tough times, he's made me a better person. So thank you, Lee. You all have made me better, but I just want to thank y'all because y'all really helped me grow with this podcast. Let's talk about some fun facts with this podcast. One thing I didn't know about podcasting, you can actually be listened to in multiple countries. So let's give a shout out to some countries that listen to us. We actually made some friends along the way. Shout out to our friends in India, Germany, France, Bangladesh, Singapore, Canada, Spain, Pakistan, and we have a big following in Africa. So thank you to our international friends, man. We definitely have had some impact globally, which I didn't think that was possible, Brandon, but our international friends have been very big on our show.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the biggest things when every time, I would look at our, analytics and the statistics of the shows, it would always amaze me how, I'm just being honest, sometimes they will listen to the show more than us in the U.S. And I don't know if that's because the people here just in the U.S. just don't like straight up people. That's just one of the things I've always noticed. But that also goes back to how you always have a curiosity towards, foreign cultures, and try to be that bridge to us, especially. And this is another thing. And you like to pride on this, and some people just don't know. You will plan an episode around the same time some will just pop off, and the episode will be right, like, be published right at the moment. Didn't plan it, but it'll just happen right when it needs to, for the episode to be probably what some people need to hear to get through whatever event just occurred in the world. So I think that's obviously, a gift that will be missed for some people. Like I said, listens to Straight Up to get through their day. But yeah, you've always been that bridge with the foreign cultures all around the world, and you don't hear that often with podcasts.
Yeah, and that's what I'm gonna miss the most is like studying or talking to people abroad, especially in Australia and Africa. Like, made some cool friends overseas, man. So that's really the power of social media, the power of podcasts. So I'm gonna miss that part the most. But that's a wrap, y'all. That's 100 episodes, man. We've been through a lot. Y'all want to say anything else? Is there anything else to say? It's just Christina called me all problematic and egotistical and all this stuff like that. And
you can't say anything because you yourself said it a couple of times. You admitted to it, so.
Yeah, great leaders.
Yeah,
great leaders have to be egotistical.
Yeah, it sounds like you're saying egotistical.
Egotistical. I miss he get me. Miss he get me.
Brandon does get me.
He understands you.
He gets me. He understands me.
You know what? That's why you
feel better.
You should went the.
You feel like a big boy now, Calvin.
You should went to Northwest State University of Louisiana because that's a better college. So I'm just saying. Fork 'em demons. Oh, what are y'all's mascot? I'm just kidding. My bad. Sorry. We beef in college. I'm sorry.
So definitely people should go back and listen to whatever episodes they haven't, and continue to support the brand. I said the Patreon, and follow all of us. I mean, sad to say, I don't really post much. I'm not really a social media person, but follow Calvin Straight Up, because whatever does come next, that's the only way you're gonna find out.
Yeah,
so,
and while we're hitting there, I guess I can break it down. And like I said, just before I go, I just definitely want to give a big shout out to like my crew, man. Like, just round of applause, man. If y'all listening right now, you're watching live, like, man, shout out to our crew, because these three are some of the three biggest minds I've ever worked with, even in my professional career. Like, these three are special to me. And like Christina said earlier, like, we hadn't talked in 5 years, and it just seemed like we just picked up where we started. And Brandon has his own life, Christina has her own life, and Lee has his own life. And it's like, when we get together, it's like, Captain Planet or something like that. We just activate, and it's just like these threes. No laughing my analogy, Christina. I don't know what else to say. I don't know how else to say it. Whatever. But I can't say Wonder Twins, because twins is two. I would say Wonder Quadruplets. I don't know. I am butchering today. My bad. But when we get back together, y'all, it is definitely magic, and I want to give them a big thanks. But kind of give you all the next steps, what's about to happen right now. We are syndicated still. We're not syndicated. Well, yeah, we're still being played in radio right now. We are trying to work with the people in Wyoming, a college out there at Wyoming, to get production on their TV station as well. Right now, you can watch us right now every Wednesday at 6 p.m. on KCAV. That's Louisiana Broadcasting Channel 12 on Southern Link Channel 12. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m. You always can catch us We have a lot of content, man. So I haven't even sent them a bulk of our episodes. So, and the cool thing about it is that to have friends that live in Louisiana, I live in Texas, that can send me screenshots of us on TV. So that has been the coolest thing about being on broadcast TV. So we've been getting that. Also, if you're in Tampa, Florida, you can hear us in Tampa on WBO Radio every Sunday at 5 p.m. So our voice isn't going anywhere. We have a lot of content that we have not gotten through to send to our other people. We're working with other networks as well. If you're in Wyoming, we're heading your way hopefully pretty soon. Also, in Seattle Radio as well, coming pretty soon, I hope. Still working on that right now. But we're not going anywhere. But production as it is right now is standing for a halt. And here comes the sad part. If you listen to our season, this season at all, we talked about like just mental health and stuff like that. If you're a fan of our show, you know that I almost passed away. And reviving this is part of me getting back into my career field. Like Brandon and Christina said, this podcast has done its job to where it's given us opportunities, and it's definitely given me a major opportunity to where I can further my career. And I'm so blessed that this has done it, to be recognized, something that I wasn't even trying to do, but somebody spotted my talent. And I am so blessed to have that happen, not just once, but twice. So I want to take this opportunity and actually get a chance to hone my skills a little bit more. But also, like Brandon said and Christina said in the beginning, they took time out to work on themselves. And as Christina told you, that I'm somebody that always works. So I have, since the moment I've been able to walk again and talk again, because I had to learn how to do that all over again, I moved straight to Texas. I have not been still since then. So from me being in a coma to being here now, I have not sat still. So since now things are kind of clear right now, I'm able to do more stuff. I want to take time to actually take Brandon's advice and Christina's advice and work on myself, which Brandon can tell you, I don't know how to, because I'm always giving back and doing for others. So I need to learn how to do this myself. It's a big deal for me to do that. Also, if you listen to the 3 episodes ago about being, big and a big person, I want to take my health more serious now. That has been a big focal point. And I definitely don't want to go into another accident to where I'm at 50% chance of living again, because next time I might be on the other side of that 50, and I don't want that. So I really want to focus on my health, my mental health, and just work on me. And I haven't done that yet. So to have this second opportunity at life and not take it full advantage of it, that's one of the big reasons why I'm taking a step back, because you only get one life, and tomorrow you're here, today you're here, tomorrow you can be gone. So I want to take full advantage of the second opportunity in life, mentally and physically, to see what life can give me. And this podcast does take up a lot of time. It takes up a lot of time. And like Christina said, it's not that the podcast is dying. The podcast is doing actually better, and shout out to like Chance the Rapper who actually hit us up, and to see our work. So that is a big deal, that, our podcast is growing and I'm willing to stop it. Also that, when it comes to, even though that we joke about me being problematic and stuff like that, my mental health has impacted the people I love. And so I'm going to admit that, and it hurt people that I love. So I want to make sure that, that doesn't happen again. And I don't feel like me having the moniker straight up, and I'm not being straight up with myself in my life. So I feel very hypocritical to keep going, and I'm not okay myself. So that's the sad part about it, but it's true. So that's one reason why I'm okay with stopping at 100 episodes for right now. I could come back, don't know yet. But when and if I do come back, I want to make sure I'm a better version of myself when I left. So that is a big reason why I'm leaving, and to prepare myself for this big opportunity coming up, which I'm trying to keep on the wraps for right now. But it's very big, and I thank God for this podcast, because if it wasn't for the podcast, I wouldn't have this opportunity handed to me. So I'm very thankful for all those who have listened, who have bought merchandise. Shout out to Stefan, who just bought some merch, and all the people that's bought merch, that's supportive of us. I want to have a list of people at the end of this episode and to say thank you, because there will be no Straight Up without y'all. So the people who listen to one episode or 2 episodes or just even like share something, thank you so much. This show is to talk about the tough conversations that you hear about, but you don't want to talk about because it's too uncomfortable or you're too shy or anything. I want you to continue the conversation. Don't be scared to have these conversations, and be vocal, because you only get one life. I want to go around the table right quick, and I want to get one last thing from each one of y'all, Brandon and Christina. If you had a message to our listeners out there, just about just our podcast and what it means, and you have any advice to give them, what advice would you give them about anything, Brandon?
Be straight up, but be straight up not only vocally, but also straight up about your life. Like you said, like really taking the time to focus on you, your health, well-being, even your actions. You know, I easily can say stuff and kind of I made it a habit to, you know, speak now and regret it later, no matter what. But, you know, make sure if you're out there being straight up, you know, 1, you're not being a hypocrite, but 2, make sure whatever you're dishing out, you're able to take it. You know, being straight up is an amazing thing, but you still got to be a humble, be a good person, you know. And I hope all these episodes, it's called Straight Up, but a majority of these episodes is about becoming a better person. And I hope, you know, you all took all that from this.
Christina?
And I 100% agree with Brandon there. So if there's something that I do hope and wish people could take from this and really keep with them and consider, is to, first of all, take care of yourself. Listen to yourself and take good care of yourself, more than physical, but definitely physical, mentally. Protect yourself how you need to, but also learn to be considerate and listen to people. Be true to yourself as best you can, but don't be closed off to the idea of someone else's, you know, perspective. So definitely always be considerate of those that you're talking to, because you be straight up, but in moderation, you know, like just meaning be straight up, be frank with what you want to say, be true to yourself and your beliefs, but don't ever be so stubborn or afraid to hear out the other side. At the very least, listen to it and let them try to speak it, and then form your own opinion from there. So be considerate, take care of yourself, take care of the people around you, as you know, but it also, don't be afraid to step away if you need to step away from a situation. Like I had to take a break for myself. Everybody has had to take a break for themselves. Don't be afraid to do that, even if it seems like it's at a really bad time. It's like, but if you feel yourself getting to a point, stop for a second, take a breath, and make the decisions that you know you need to make for yourself. Take a deep breath and go with the best thing that you can do for yourself. Don't be afraid to take care of yourself is my biggest thing right now. And I hope that throughout these episodes regarding mental health and suicide awareness and things, that I hope that's the one people really pay attention to the most for themselves. And as far as what I want you to take in for others, I want you to listen to that barbershop episode and the domestic abuse, or even the relationship episodes. It could be something as funny as, you know, tournaments, but really take a second and just listen to what other people have to say and think about things that, you know, just give them that moment before you jump to saying what you want to say. So just learn to listen to people, learn to take care of yourself, and that's all I got.
Yeah, and I couldn't say this because I wasn't part of the Black History episode this year, but if this podcast have helped you in any way, you're welcome.
For those who don't know, that's Brandon's slogan. So you're welcome. So just the end of the funny. I'm trying to get all like emotional, but you're welcome. So yeah, like these two said, that's just this whole podcast, the Straight Up moniker itself is to give back. It's never for us. It's never for clout. Like if you look at our social media, it's not all there. We just don't care. We care about the message and what you're getting out of it. We care about sharing other people's opinions and other backgrounds. We started this season about someone who's a hardcore Trump supporter, and we didn't attack her. We just wanted to see where her mind was at, because we're in this world together and we can't leave this world. So we have to learn from each other and take what we learn from each other and try to understand it at least. Because I mean, all it takes, we can have disagreements, we can have arguments, but can we all come to the table and be together emotionally mature? So I challenge y'all, do that. Go back and listen to our episodes. Go back and listen to some of the things that we talked about. Even our PSAs, there are messages in those PSAs about being a better person. And like I said, myself, I want to practice what I preach. And, you know, until that day happens and there's no more production of Straight Up until that happens. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with stopping at 100 episodes. I'm okay with right now, even though we're on top, because if one thing that, you know, I know about myself, you can take it from me, baby. But guess what? I can come back bigger and better and stronger, because if that thing killed me, what can? You know, so I know the power that I possess as a person. I just want to sharpen my skills and be a better one. And nothing wrong with that. So with that being said, that's a wrap, y'all. That's it for our podcast, our 100th episode. Man, I can't believe we made it so far. Brandon, Christina, man, I'm gonna miss y'all. We gotta do lunch again. I'm gonna really miss y'all too, and and Lee as well. I want to miss y'all.
Yeah, we gotta get together.
Yeah, and hopefully this time y'all won't laugh at me. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I will always laugh at you. I will always laugh at you. But I laugh at Brandon too, so don't feel bad.
I was just messing with y'all.
She does. Yeah, she does.
I'm just messing with y'all, but like, no, I'm gonna miss y'all. I know I keep saying it, but thank y'all so much. Y'all really, I know we joke around, but y'all really are my brother and sister. I love y'all so much. Lee, I love you, man. Y'all, 100 episodes. We made it. Y'all take the time out and really go back and listen and see what we're all about. If you want to connect with Brandon, there's his links to his company. You want some video work done, talk to Brandon. He can look you up. If you want to follow Lee, if you're in gaming, go follow Lee's YouTube. It's on our website as well. Links to his website, his YouTube page to see what he's been doing. And Christina as well. You want to follow Christina and see what she's doing. She graduates in a couple days. You know, our girl is doing some big things. So she's the first lady of Straight Up. I want to say thank you, man. I am so proud of all three of y'all, what y'all been doing. I pray that y'all have more continued success. For our listeners, if you're out there right now, I want you to hear me right now and say you're not alone. You know, if you have mental health problems, you have health problems, you're overweight, if you have, you know, racial problems, like, you're not alone. Talk to somebody. But if you do, we have one rule to our show, and we're going to tell you here in a second, but it's being straight up. Visit our website at Str8UpShowPodcast.com. That's www.Str8UpShowPodcast.com. If you want to still support us and see Brandon and Christina's exclusive content and our documentary series, which is something I'm going to be working on as well, go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/Str8UpShowPodcast318. That's patreon.com/Str8UpShowPodcast318. Y'all, when I started this podcast journey, a lot of people counted us out. And one of the reasons why I left the TV version, because they wouldn't let it do this our way. But Brandon, Christina, here we are in 100 episodes. And I can say that finally, we did it my way. We did it our way. And if you're listening, we did it your way. Y'all join us in the conversation. Continue the conversation. Continue the talks. But if you do, There's only one rule to our show. You gotta be
straight up.
I'm so proud of you and your show and everybody that has put in all this time. It's so successful. I am looking forward to what you have to do in the future. This is only the beginning. I'm so glad that you stuck to something you started when you were a kid, and to see it grow to this. Congratulations on your 100th episode.
I've enjoyed watching you grow with this journey that you've been on. I'm so proud of you for all of the hard-hitting topics you've been focusing on. I hope you have a great, wonderful future where you continue to be straight up with everyone and spread some of that positivity, and also spreading awareness to tough topics. So, congratulations.
Congratulations, man. 100 episodes. That is insane. Consider yourself, hey, you did it. Not many people can accomplish that. So consider yourself, I'm not going to say lucky, but great. We'll say that. And thank you, man. This, you guys have really cranked out material that I think people want to listen to and are intrigued by. And yeah, man, this has been such a great experience for us to be able to reach new ears and eyes. And I appreciate you and your friendship, man. God bless.
It's hard to believe that it's been 100 episodes already. But Calvin, the little sister, wants to tell you congratulations on 100 episodes of Straight Up. You've persevered through so many obstacles along the way. And I just want you to know that I'm so proud of you. And I can't wait to see what you have in store in the future. Best of luck.
100 episodes. Just saying that is wild, ain't it? Look, I know how tough it is just to get to 20. Okay? It is not an easy task. So trust me when I say this is out of this world. Just insane. 100 episodes of laughs, gut-wrenching topics, and everything in between. It's been one incredible journey, and I can't be more honored than to have been able to join y'all on this journey as well. So huge milestone. This is just beautiful, man. This is what hard work and dedication looks like. Big ups, y'all.